So you've talked to several different artists all through the years.
Lots of different
Well, yeah. I mean, have you learned from other artists? I mean, not the.
artists are very giving, but there's and what you find is doing the street shows. There's such a jumble of artists.
Yeah, I know.
And so that you have market artists, you have more purists, you have academic artists that have jobs and they just create to create.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, there's, yeah.
Does that drive you crazy?
Everything it can. Well, it does when you try to navigate through the middle of that.
Yeah.
You have the extreme who say, well, this is a color that's hot this year. So I'm going to paint this color.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, then you have the other colors. I have a job. I'm getting $120,000 a year. I can just throw this on, and I don't care if it sells.
Yeah.
I can be arrogant. I can be this, and you're somewhere you're trying to navigate the middle of that, and this is all getting thrown at people, and you're in the middle, and there's all the different extremes and stuff that you try to navigate through. And so it's frustrating. But there's an enjoyment. Most people are incredibly nice. Most artists are very sharing.
Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, they want to give, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, not artists, but a lot of people think artists are weird.
Well, yeah, most, they have to be. You have to be a little
off.
different. Yeah.
Oh, it's a trip. Now, have you been in New York? I mean, your stuff?
In exhibitions.
Yeah.
Not in galleries.
Oh, okay.
The Audubon, the Allied Artists, the National Sculpture Society, all exhibitions in New York.
And I mean, because New York is heavy in art. How?
Well, and that's always a fight of where, you can go to Santa Fe, you can go to probably more galleries in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But one of the things is there's the society of art, and then there's the mentality of art. You go to me, the Southwest is by far better.
Really?
Because if you go to the Southwest, there's an expectation of you have to have art in your home. And I think it comes from the indigenous people.
Really?
They're very, very fine craftspeople, from their rugs to their
So they
potter.
respect the art more than.
Well, it started, and they started. They weren't as nomadic of a people, and so they, and they crafted their pots. These pots are very beautiful, and their weaving's incredibly beautiful. And so they got to appreciate. They really appreciated some of that, and being they weren't so nomadic. And there's something different about the climate when you go down there. There's just something like it's in the air. You feel there's just a different respect. And I think that permeated down there to this modern culture. So when you go down there, I can go into the beautiful homes in here, and you can tell that the interior decorator went through and set everything. You go down there, and there's bronzes in their yard. There's ornate abstract sculptures in their yard. And their houses are full. Every nook, houses are big and open, and every nook has original work in it.
Yeah.
And big, huge paintings hang on the wall. And you travel lots of the other places of the United States, and that doesn't exist. And so, but it comes back to there's almost an expectation of it down there, that you have art around you.
So, okay, for instance, if you're a beginner artist, would you go down there? Or would you try to grow your art?
I think you have to go everywhere. You can't, especially the Northeast, really, for like the woods, a very strong appreciation of craftsmanship and wood and the process.
Yeah.
You go to the Southwest, there can be bright colors and just different things. There's different things that every market has a different subtleties and nuances.
So do you kind of mold yourself around your surroundings?
No, I don't mold myself. I create what I create, and there's going to be somebody somewhere that will connect to it.
Okay.
But you see general themes when you get to go to collectors' homes.
Right.
and the attitudes of people.
Okay. Because I'm surprised you don't have any trout or fish. Oh yeah, why?
Well, but that's what, and that's one thing that you'll see there isn't. I don't do one continuous subject.
Yeah.
I don't. I rarely do, and this is real except when you do the two curlers.
Right. So
I probably won't do. I may not ever do another curler.
Really?
So
Do you get bored, or you just don't want to?
there's so many. There's just so many other things to do.
No, I understand.
You know, there's, and I don't. You know, you don't want to be pigeonholed. That's why you brought in figurative.
Has when I first started when I was in college, my art, I was dancing all around. I was doing all kinds of different paintings and different styles and everything. And one instructor said, "You need to stay with one style, kind of like a Thomas Kincaid, so people can recognize you."
Great marketing. Great marketing.
Yeah. So when someone sees you, I mean, I know your pieces now, but from your woodwork's a little different than your bronze, and that's fine. I mean,
Well, but you know, when the instructor says that, how many would you go into history and you would see any of the great masters? Did they do the same thing for?
no, they changed.
They all change, and that's that modern mentality of marketability.
Right.
What sells, you got to keep throwing it out there.
Until something sticks.
It'll always sell.
Huh?
Once it sells, what sells will always sell. It's about marketing, and you get people accustomed to it, and they don't know it. It's just like you've seen that painting. You don't know that sculpture. You don't know where you've seen it, but it was familiar.
Yeah, it did look familiar.
But if it's highly marketable, that allows you to buy it.
Right.
If you recognize it.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. And that's why if you basically see cute wildlife, to me it's spun off of Walt Disney. As you're in your youth, you think it has to be cute, it has to be beautiful, and that's when you buy that.
Would you like to change your style?
Hopefully my style is always evolving.
Yeah.
Looser, or some things are tighter, some things work, you know, and it depends on what I want to,
Do.
where I want the eye to go on the piece.
Right. I mean, because for instance, this is probably looser, but this is more tighter. For me, I love this. I mean, because I love detail. I love. Yeah, that's my.
Well, and for me, if I was to look at it, is my challenge is how do I make you think there's detail, and when you go in there, and that's where the wood is a lot. To me, is more challenging. I can play with wood more and fool the eye.
Yeah.
With bronze, and it's what you see across the room versus what you see when you start looking at this piece. You would think it's very highly detailed, but then it's not.
You get closer.
It's just tool marks.
Right.
But if you were to look at that across the room, you think, man, that piece has got to be those thin feathers. It's got to be very detailed.
Yeah. You ever tried just getting as detailed as you can? It's not worth it.
No, because it was an interesting. Too much information ruins the creativity.
Yeah. Seems like the simpler the better.
Well, no.
What kind of? Well.
It's not the simpler. It's just too much information. It's like I don't use photography.
Right.
Because that's too much information.
So how do you get your subject?
I create them.
This is all how you're.
It's all in my head. You'll never see this in a while.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Because I was going to say, how do you get your subjects? I mean, how do you?
This is something you could potentially see in a while.
Well, I know, but I mean, how the portions of the head to the feathers to.
Well, I know proportions.
Yeah.
Well, you know proportions. You can. When I say if I use